Now, when two people come together to become one, either dating or married, there is an unwritten contract that basically says that this is a relationship where everything is 50-50. You know, you pull your weight, I pull my weight. And in the modern times, it's even more pertinent, whether you're going on a date, you're buying a house, bills, rent, school fees, whatever it is. When it comes to expenses, does the same principle apply? We'll find out on a very, very special edition of Blue Room Banters Certified Cool by Premier Cool Soap. We'll be talking about the sharing formula. I'm Oscar Oyinsom. Catch me on the other side as we meet some fantastic guys who will help me thrash this out. Great to have you back on Blue Room Banters. Now I have, as usual, we come correct with the gentlemen on this particular table. I have a media consultant, a PR specialist, and entrepreneur. Let's put it that way. He is Ayobami, but better known as Mr. Posh himself. Great to have you, bro.
Thank you.
This change, this change. I have also a broadcast journalist with me as well, a very strong member of the Beard Gang. We've been having a couple of them on the show, making me feel very inadequate. Benga, how are you, man?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for having us on your side. Now, we have one more personality, also in radio, and he's, well, part-time radio, part-time filmmaker.
That's right.
Kayode, great to have you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Very slick, smooth voice. Ladies, watch out for you. That's all I can say. Anyway, so we're talking about sharing formula today, and the concept basically is along the line of when it comes to women or guys, everything should go down the middle. Now, I'm just going to throw this open. Traditionally, when you hear that a man is in a relationship or in a marriage, is it just me, or expenses are meant to be taken care of by him traditionally?
Traditionally, they say the man is the head of a family, and on easy lies the head that wears the crown. So the man should take responsibility. However, the reality today is different. Unless I win the lottery, then I would do 100%.
Even the lottery that you win, you have to split it with someone. What about you? What do you think? Okay.
Well, yeah, traditionally, like you mentioned, you know, the man should take charge because he's a protector, he's the leader, right?
Yeah.
But the world we live in today, it's an equal world, right? Which means that everything should be straight down the middle.
Who made it equal though? That's like, when did it become equal?
It's a movement that's been going. It'll keep going.
Yeah.
And it'll find its balance eventually, you know? There's that equality talk, but we're not going to talk about that. However, I think it's become equal, and as such, things should be done equally.
Mr. Posh?
Okay, so I would say that traditionally, culturally, and religious-wise, we've been made to believe that the man is supposed to be the man in charge, the grand commander. So he takes care of all the bills, he foots all the bills. But if you look at it this way, I'm sure that most of those that instigated that rule did not foresee luxury. They did not foresee comfort. They didn't foresee convenience. A whole lot of things has changed.
Yeah.
Many people who fault men when they complain are still the same people who will still come for the men when men stomach so much inside of them, and probably when one soldier is falling. And so they say that men are meant to speak out. Okay, so when it comes to finances, this is the way I feel. The first thing that makes you a man is the fact that you have that thing that the woman looks up to. So you have a father figure, sort of. You have the you are the protector. You are the provider. You are the shoulder to lean on. So it means that there's an edge. Now, for any man who wants that respect or that regard of a man, I feel that whatever you're doing, make sure that you can provide the basics. Basics as regards accommodation, maybe feeding, payment of school fees. Those are basics. Those are things I feel that...
Basics is not enough these days.
I understand. I'm actually still going there.
I was about to say that your basics is... You see, the basics of the single people is very, very different.
You see, I mentioned luxury the other time.
Yes.
Because I feel that the reason why we're even having this conversation is because there's an infusion of luxury into all of this. And that is what has changed
The whole dynamics.
dynamics.
What do you think?
I believe people need to just be honest with themselves and come to the table like, this is what I have. I used to be married, so I understand. I'm speaking from experience. A relationship went south because of financial reasons, not my fault.
Was it majorly, would you put the blame or the buck at the finance is what railroaded everything? Or
I mean, other factors, but majorly it was finance at the end of the day. But I used it as a steam to power my train. And yes, I got a nice job after that, and it's been upward and onwards since then. But it's very important for people to have that conversation. You know, butterflies and bees in the beginning, you tell them this is what I have or this is it. But I'm not comfortable with just remaining in one spot. I have drive, I'm going to progress in life. You see me doing all those things. But the reality of life will catch up. You see your friends getting bags and all of that. And then my boyfriend can't provide it. She didn't believe in delayed gratification, like you better blow in the next.
So there's this clock ticking
Yes.
unconsciously. And I want to take a cue from you, Benga. When it comes to the issue of opening up, it takes a very special woman for a guy to open up to in that manner. Whether you're dating or even if you're, whatever the case might be, it takes a lot. Now, for guys who are out there watching who are not there yet, what's your pearl of wisdom to them? Do you just lay it out on the ground and whatever?
I'm sure if we could get an official from EFCC, I'm speaking off the cuff, and interview some of these young guys that they've caught. Yeah. What is your driving factor? What pushed you to do this? A lot of them will be like keeping up with the Joneses, you know, keeping up appearances. They want to impress girls and all of that. So, young kings out there, I would implore you to work on your self-esteem. Life is not about your present. It's, you have a whole future ahead of you. It's the work you put in. And it would always come, and you would find somebody that likes you for who you are.
Some might say that societal pressure could do one of two things: ginger you, which it kind of did for you eventually.
It does,
and it can also take you down a very dark road. When it comes to sharing things, in terms of just splitting the bills or splitting the responsibilities, how vulnerable should a guy be? Or I mean, how vulnerable should they be? You're on your first date, who pays the bill, for example?
First date, I think you should pay the bills. Second date, third date, then you can start to be vulnerable, because after the first, second date, we've opened up to each other. We know each other, right? So there is no hiding, no forming, there's nothing going on. So then we can decide we should go Dutch, or you can take care of the bill. This is at the third or fourth date.
If a woman on your first date says, you know what, I want to take you out, I'll pay. What comes to mind? Because there are women that do that.
The Nigerian default.
It's
a no.
You would say no.
The Nigerian
I'll
default.
go on the date, but I'll pay.
I'll go on that date, but like Vega said, I would pay. You see, the thing with dates is try as much as possible to get to know each other. Now, if you both are open to conversation, communication, so it means that if I'm cool with you, then you're cool with me. That's why we're going to arrange a second date, then the third.
Yes.
Now, probably after the second or third, maybe after the third, and you volunteer to pay, I can sit back and enjoy you.
But I'm still on the case of, why do you feel compelled to pay? Even though she says she's going to pay, why don't you just let her pay?
I would say we're wired and we're brought up this way to take up responsibility. So that's a macho thing. Yes, that's a macho thing.
And
What if
it's
she
also an
takes
impression
offense?
thing.
Yeah, go on.
It's also an impression thing. You know, you say first impression has the lasting effect.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a date where you have to pay, and then I'll have to remember the first impression that you paid for our first date.
But Benga said is it self-esteem?
Yeah.
Yo, who you are? I have ₦1 billion in my account. The girl calls me up. We go on the date. She pays. It doesn't make me less of a man if she pays. So I'm trying to figure out, guys, why is it such a big deal if a woman decides to maybe pay on the first date?
Okay, so what happens to she making the payment and you doing the transfer after.
It's still awkward. That's
It's
the
still
problem.
awkward. There's
For
some,
me, I feel that I don't feel that that's actually awkward. I feel that it's just you taking charge of what you're meant to do.
Okay.
Now, compared to those that live like orphans, I said it before. You see, you meet some girls that make it look like the day you become my boyfriend, then you
They
are,
take a responsibility.
you're my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the girl behaves like an orphan. So you pay for everything, even for apartment. You're buying this and buying that. No, but when you have a proper date and you guys are lying onto the same, you have the same value, you share the same
Yeah.
school of thought and the rest of it. These are things that there should be a balance. When you can't be the Mr. Spender, you're not the single money that spends at every time. There should be a balance, a support. And that's what the woman is meant to be, the support system.
Now, at this point, usually I share a story, most likely a true life story, not mine. So here's what happens. There's a married couple, right? There's a guy, girl, spends out usually 70-30. He picks up most of the tabs.
Okay.
But she earns a decent amount. In fact, she earns enough to take care of everything. But as the man in the house, like you guys rightly pointed out, he puts down, from time to time. Let's just say it's a 70-30 kind of a thing. The thunder strikes, he loses his job. Now, at that moment, obviously, spending from his own end has shut down. He has to open up, or he should open up, to his wife, but he doesn't. He goes out of the house as if, there's a job, hoping to get another job. 3 months go by, 6 months go by. There's a lot of strain financially on him, and obviously, things are not really adding up in the bank account. So here's the question. What would you advise this guy to do?
Okay. So I would say that going by your story, I feel that this guy had
A story, not my story.
Okay, his story. he had a background error. He had a
Yeah.
background error. Because
Yeah.
if you're going into a relationship or marriage, except if you're going with a script, you're meant to be yourself. Keeping up with your self-esteem is you living up to your own reality. Being yourself. Communication is, I talk to you, you talk to me. We get to be friends. Communication means that even when I'm not telling you that something is wrong, you should be able to decipher that something is wrong. You should know that this is not this man. You should know that on a norm, when I come back from work, there's always one gist around the office. There's Mr. A, there's this, there's that, there's an event. So in 3 months, if in 3 months, even as the wife or the girlfriend, you could not decipher that something is wrong, then it means that all along it was business.
There's some people watching who don't know, for example, how much internet costs per month or how much diesel costs or fuel costs. There are just some people who have taken that responsibility on themselves. And whether or not they want to contribute or whatever, they just know that they put on the lights, the light works. They put on the gen, there's diesel there. So as a man, and that's why this is very important, and I need you guys to come out for me, is what do you tell a guy like that?
I think
Pick up.
it's
Yeah.
important to be vulnerable, right? In front of your partner. And I say vulnerable in the sense that, hey, I'm making this much money.
Yeah.
I'm not making this much money at this point in time. So we're at a crossroad, right?
Yeah.
So I need you to try and pick up the tabs while I work my way up. And it's very easy. It just depends on, like Mr. Porsche mentioned, the kind of relationship you had before you go into the
foundation,
marriage. So this is one of the reasons I say, don't get married in 6 months. I mean, if you're dating, date for 3 years, date for 4 years, so you get to know this person. You've
Wait,
seen
is that
each
your
other.
principle now?
It is. See each other in all your phases. You know, some people say,
Coyote.
I
You
date you in a
don't
year.
need
Can I
3 years. You don't
interject?
need 3
I
years.
think
Can I
you do.
interject? Can
I
I
think you
converse?
do.
Wait, let Coyote land
I think
first.
you do, because in a year, people can cover up a lot of things. In a year, 2 years, 3 years. But when it's 3 years, 4 years, you know each other. There's no hiding from
Wait,
each
you're
other.
not married yet, right?
No, I'm not.
What's the longest
Longest
courtship you've
relationship.
had?
Courtship, longest.
dating?
4 years.
4 years.
And that's probably going to lead to marriage, right?
Yeah.
Most likely going to lead to marriage. So now we know each other. There's no
She
forming.
must really love you. Some women are not that patient.
So
Then it's
thank you.
fine.
Can I
It's
come
fine.
in?
Yeah, Mr. Porsche,
Okay,
you're
so
going
the
to say.
thing is this, if Coyote said something that if that situation happens, talk to her, she needs to step in. I feel that to me, I would rather not tell you, please step into this. I would rather tell you, let's cut down on our expenses for the time being because of this situation.
So you rather reduce
Save
your
face.
standard of living, so to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Would
But
it change?
the woman can afford to actually...
No. See, this is me throwing, what's it called, the carrot
carrot.
approach. Oh, let's cut down some things for the next 3 months. I'll pick it up. I'll pick up.
And then
now,
you expect
so
her
I
to...
expect her to say,
What happened?
okay. No, I expect that she knows because I must have told her. I would have opened up.
So you're
I expect
expecting her to now say, "No, baby, don't
babe.
worry."
See, let me come through. And like, no. Now, still try. Do that dilly-dally. No.
But I want you to
traditional
just say,
man.
babe, I'm broke,
Yes.
and I need you to take up the tabs.
No, I won't say,
You know,
babe, I'm broke. I need you to.
This
I'm
is,
broke.
do you know
let's
this
cut down with the
macho,
tweets.
this hard guy sent so many young people to their untimely grave?
Yeah, this carrot,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
so
look, what is it? You're in a relationship.
Yeah.
On that wedding day, they said for better, for worse.
worse.
Nobody put a gun to your head to say you should get married. You know the person you're getting married to.
Yeah.
You know his habits. You know his ability. You know his potential. You know his financial status. So when we have said two has become one,
Yeah.
we share responsibilities. Good times, bad times. And bad times don't last forever. You lost a job. Is it the end of the world? Look,
Nope.
babe. So we know what is
But
happening.
Benga,
I've lost this job. I beg.
Let me
You
tap
have
into
money.
let me tap into your experience, because in theory you're right, but the reality on ground is we have guys out there who have their money, drinks with the guys. There's some things you want to spend money on as a guy where you don't want to check in with the missus
wife.
or check in with the girlfriend. You don't have that money anymore, right? So which means you're vulnerable. Now this dangling carrot is one approach, but I want to switch to Benga and tell me, with your experience and what you went through, because you mentioned money had a very vital role to play, how would you handle it now with all you know? How would you handle it now?
I think I hold my head up high. I would have done the same thing I did. It was painful at first, and I just picked myself up. Like, there are many, I mean, look at me now.
Look at me now.
So, it's just being yourself at the end of the day. You should never apologize for being yourself. I'm not saying I didn't have my faults or anything, but there was nothing, you can't give somebody a time frame to blow. And I said, look, let's open a joint account. Money I get on the side and this, I know you earn more, we'll put it towards rent for next year. So rent came, recession hit, I couldn't do my own part. Meanwhile, I've been doing my part since, assisting
Steadily.
with the house and all of that. But I had another accommodation, work accommodation. Thank God for that. I had something to fall back to. So I wasn't on the street. And then it was time to pay up. Said, nothing came through. I can't. And she had the money. She said, no, I will not use my own money. But we're married, so it's
I get
fair enough. So I just picked up the
I'm
pieces
just
and
trying to get a
moved
sense
on.
of this, because I sense this with Mr. Posh, where you are throwing the carrots and you're expecting him to say, oh no baby, don't worry, I'll take it up, outstanding. And I'm like, why is it so difficult for men to own up and say, look, I need your help for the next couple of months? Why is that such a big deal?
Well, it's a big deal because, like I mentioned, you're expected to be the leader, the protector, the father, to take charge of responsibilities, right? And, coming down and asking your woman, who you're supposed to lead, that, hey, could you help me with this? Can be sometimes, to some people, demeaning. So you want to take up that charge and say, you know what, I'll find a way around this and do it myself.
Women are better managers of resources. So
Yes,
if she
they
knows
are.
your habits, that this guy is a Friday night guy, she would
Exactly.
have been putting some money aside, securing the house for times
Especially
like this.
if you are being responsible to the house.
Yes, and there'll be constant communication. So a marriage should not be a secretive thing, She's not a girlfriend. She's not somebody, I don't want her to know this. I don't want her to see me in that light.
Yeah.
If you've decided to spend the rest of your life with somebody, then, you should lay your cards on the table.
the thing is, and I say this to some of my friends, male friends, before they get married. I said, at every level of your marriage, there's a different version of you.
Advise them. They need
There's a different version of you. How you start and who you are.
Yeah.
5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, and so on, you change. Kids come into the mixture, you're saving up for a house. It brings out the true nature of who you are when there's no money, when there's too much money, when there's a fallow period. So my question now is, should the discussion of sharing happen, and at what stage should it happen?
It should happen from the get-go, right? So
Preferably not for after 3 years of dating.
well, maybe when you're about to say, okay, we're about to take this step with this woman, right?
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation. So you make X amount of money, I make X amount of money.
Yeah.
Fine, okay. So I'll do 60, you'll do 40. And naturally, if I'm the one that earns the most money and I can take care of it, I'd rather do 90-10. But you know what? Since we're living in an equal space now, equal world, I'll do 60, you do 40. So that when there is a situation where one person cannot meet up with their obligations, the next person can step into that conversation. So I think it's important you have that talk before you get married.
Like, what if you meet a babe who is currently, out of work, or a guy who is currently out of
or
work?
NYC.
Well, NYC. So here's the thing. I believe everyone in life has potentials, right? So this is where the responsibility of the man comes in as leader and protector, right? I will set you up. I'll ask you, what's your passion? What do you know how to do best? What can we work with? And then you will grow that business. And trust me, if she does have passion, she'll grow it. So from that business, that 10%, that 20% is going to come out from there.
That's a very utopian idea.
I'm meant to just be on the fence about
There's
this, but
there are
it's
people that have sent their partners to university.
I've heard of scenarios where the woman gives the man the money to redistribute. So the approach basically is that it's a pool. I bring in 10 naira, you bring in 50.
Okay.
Thanks, tomorrow you bring in 100. So what's your take on that kind of approach, guys?
I think it works. It's more of, and it's very selfless of the woman to do that because she's helping his ego. And if he feels like it's the man that is bringing out the money, there'll be peace in the house.
Why do people feel women don't have egos? But let's finish this.
There'll be peace in the house because she probably initiated that, or it's only a low self-esteem guy that will say, "Please give me the card."
Would you subscribe to that?
I'm the one that's paying. If a woman pays in public, I don't care. You don't even know if I've done a transfer 5 minutes before, and who cares about what people think? And I think that's one of the biggest issues we have in the country today. Do what works for your family, and if it's the pooling system, so be it.
Now, I want to throw this statement. We've heard it so many times. Your money, your money is our money. My money, and this is from a woman to a man. Your money is our money. My money is my money. Basically, the woman keeps what she earns, but whatever comes to you is for the family. What's your take on that? And tie that to your final words.
I mean, I don't mind that. Everybody wants to be in the position of, the head of the one that has the money.
Yeah.
So if I have a lot of money, I don't mind. You could keep your money.
Like I've said, men are wired to be leaders and providers.
Yeah.
Your money as a man is for the family because you are meant to provide.
Yeah.
You are meant to take care of responsibilities. And you see men who are battling things that they can't talk because we just keep paying bills and paying bills and paying bills. So even buy a shirt or a pair of shoes is a problem.
Well, Steve said it.
No, what have you said?
So here's the thing, right? My money, it's our money, right?
Yeah.
Your money is your money, but occasionally, right, your money should be our money because it's a partnership.
And you should be sensible enough to take me out from
Exactly.
time to time,
So that's the thing I say.
Be reasonable.
Your money should come in for gifts.
We're in a relationship.
Luxury.
We're in a
You
marriage.
get.
It's a partnership, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a partnership, I expect you to take the leaps as well. So, okay, we're going on a vacation. I paid for the 2-3 vacations. Maybe you should take up this one, occasionally.
Or maybe
I'm buying
guys
groceries
should
in the house.
date up. We put ourselves in this position that you have to be the one having
The father.
the father. You know, you have to be the provider. Let's look for women that are on our
Who
level.
says we're not dating women on our level? We are.
Then why are they not working?
Listen,
so why
financially
you stop
financially
subsidizing their
successful
lives?
women as well
Have you seen
also want to be
the
taken
Clash
care
of the
of.
Titans?
Yeah.
Financially successful women also want to be taken care of at a higher level.
For women, I've met a couple of successful women, and I know that the money factor is not as much, or is not as important to them as how the man treats them. For men, the money gives us that ego trip, that I am the man. For women, it's about taking that 5 naira, buying a rose, cliche, and just, or sending lunch to her during work.
Exactly.
If
Bro,
you,
where
if,
are they?
well, you can click the link below, and the addresses
know where
are
they
there.
are.
But I mean, generally speaking, I think, first of all, great contribution, guys. It's one of those topics that we need some women on the other side of this table to hash it out. But I think at the end of the day, the finance is, or money in this case, is a tool. And like most tools, it's what you do with it, not necessarily the tool itself. And building trust financially with your partner, whether you're married or you're single, usually it works out better. So being irresponsible with money might not let your partner be very vulnerable with money. So those are the kind of checks and balances we have to. But I think at the end of the day, when you talk about the sharing formula, respect, mutual respect for one another, acknowledging your partner, and also being there when the chips are down are some of the indices that I think will help sort this out. Because money, at the end of the day, it comes and goes. What stays is the people in question. Catch us on the next edition of Blue Room Banters. I'm Oscar Onyso. Take care.